Say my name. Heisenberg. You're goddamn right.
I want to believe you, Francis. I know you.
Normally now is when I'd slice your cheek with my scalpel and get a drop of blood to remember you by, but I can't risk anyone finding a blood slot ever again.
You may be asking yourself, what do these three have in common? One's a drug dealer, the other's a congressman, and the last is a serial killer. They all fall under one trope, the anti-hero.
An anti-hero is a central character in a story that lacks conventionally heroic attributes. The term anti-hero has been around since 1714. The first known use of it is Rameau's Nephew, a book published in 1805.
Today we will analyze anti-heroes in popular TV shows such as Breaking Bad, Dexter, and House of Cards.
Chemistry is the study of matter, but I prefer to see it as the study of change. That's growth, then decay, then transformation. Well, that's all of life, right? I mean, it's the constant, it's the cycle, it's solution, dissolution, just over and over and over. It is fascinating, really.
Walter White is an overqualified high school chemistry teacher trying to support his family. Walter's brother, a DEA agent, takes him on a drive and shows him a drug bust. This inspires Walter to abandon his job and make drugs to help his family.
As the series goes on, Walter becomes increasingly extreme in his attempts to make money. Later on, Walt becomes less of a family man and more of a drug kingpin. He ends up making much more money than he originally needed and gets carried away.
By the end of the show, he's a murderous drug lord on a mission to kill anyone that crosses him. From this we can see an even bigger transition. A drug dealer looking to supply his family, to an anti-hero with almost no likable qualities that wants to build an empire.
You asked me if I was in the meth business or the money business. Neither. I'm in the empire business.
And yet, through excellent storytelling, the audience is cheering Walter on until the very end.
I'm Dexter, and I'm not sure what I am.
Hi, Dexter.
I just know there's something dark in me. I hide it. I certainly don't talk about it. But it's there. Always. This dark passenger.
Dexter is a psychopath that has been trained by his father on how to kill without being caught. He chooses to only murder other killers.
The Billups say Buddy disappeared. I found the grave, son.
That dog was a noisy little creep, Dad.
The young Dexter didn't understand the difference between a killer and a normal person. His father, however, did, and taught him the difference.
He was barking all night and Mom couldn't sleep and she's very, very sick, and that lousy dog was yapping at every leaf that blew down the sidewalk.
There were a lot of bones in there, Dexter. And not just Buddy's.
His father's code is what helps the audience find Dexter more than just a serial killer. Dexter ironically works in a police department as a blood spatter analyst. He uses his position to find potential targets.
No, probably a very sharp knife. Look at the blood spatter, look at the patterns. It tells a story. You see this big pond of blood right there?
Dexter can be classified as an anti-hero because he has few to no likable qualities. He has no emotion and kills others without any afterthought.
Throughout the show, Dexter is not changed by what he does, but by the people around him. There are even situations where it can be believed that Dexter is feeling some sort of emotion.
Walter White seems tame in comparison, as he began with good intentions but was transformed into an anti-hero. Walter also has emotions, something that is key to evoking pathos in viewers.
Despite their differences, Walter White and Dexter are two of the most respected and well-known anti-heroes.
Don't waste a breath mourning Miss Barnes. Every kitten grows up to be a cat. They seem so harmless at first, small, quiet, lapping up their saucer of milk. But once their claws get long enough, they draw blood, sometimes from the hand that feeds them. For those of us climbing to the top of the food chain, there can be no mercy. There is but one rule: hunt or be hunted.
Frank Underwood is an American politician who is obsessed with power and will go farther than anyone to attain it.
Money is the McMansion in Sarasota that starts falling apart after 10 years. Power is the old stone building that stands for centuries. I cannot respect someone who doesn't see the difference.
Throughout the series, Frank takes extreme measures to remain in and gain more power. He even kills 2 of his adversaries during the series to maintain his position.
Some people would argue Frank Underwood is not an anti-hero, but simply a villain. However, there is something throughout this show that drives the viewers to continuously cheer him on.
This is the belief Frank has good intentions for the future of the United States.
As the series goes on, his good intentions are revealed. He plans to cure the unemployment issues, however his methods involve ending U.S. government entitlements.
Let me be clear. You are entitled to nothing.
You are entitled to nothing.
Compared to Dexter, Frank Underwood isn't as dark, but he is scarier. This is because of his lack of remorse after killing and being the most powerful man in the world.
Set against Walter White, Underwood isn't as aggressive in his methods, but has a similar mindset: the love of an empire and control. No matter how dark the story, vile the motives, or disturbing the actions, each of these characters inspires an emotional allegiance from the viewer.
If any of their stories were told differently, they very well may be viewed as villains. However, due to the unique style of storytelling, their crimes are viewed as necessary. Their brutality becomes heroic, and ultimately their overwhelming evil becomes righteous good.